Good, so let's come into our comfortable seat. I'm just going to talk about class a little bit before we do tune in. Those of you might already have a bit of a hint as to what this class promises. The aim is that we're going to come into a peak pose of twisting side crow later on into the class. Now, this was quite sort of divisive last week, so hopefully we'll get us a little bit closer. What I want to encourage us to think about is actually it never ever matters if we come into the full expression of a pose. We are always aiming to strive for progress, not perfection. Modifications will be offered, and as long as you've got a blanket and a cushion handy, if we fall, we'll come to that. We're going to pretend like it was on purpose, and I'll show you how to do that, okay? It's going to be absolutely fine. We're going to have lots of fun. We're going to work the core muscles, we're going to twist into the obliques and strengthen those, we're going to stretch and strengthen those hips, and we're sort of training up the flexibility and control in quite a unique way as we work up to our peak pose this evening, which, as you know, is Parajabhakasana or twisting side crow. Those of you who've attended this session today will receive in your inboxes a link to a mini tutorial, which is about 4 minutes long, on twisting side crow, and also 17 minutes to twisting side crow for something to practice in between times. What I'd like to ask is that if you enjoyed the class, that you let me know you enjoyed the class, and if you'd like to practice again something similar next week, we can. Otherwise, if you prefer to move on, please let me know either way, and then we'll sort of see if we can work with those comments and suggestions from people. I don't want you to feel frustrated. Just do what you can do, rest when you need to, come into it slowly, with ease, sort of positive visualization as though we have already done it a million times over, and hopefully that will sort of get over the fear factor. But as I've mentioned, modifications will be offered, and so you feel free to take those, and they will be just as fun, okay? So let's get started. So sitting comfortably, switching the cross of those shins, getting nice and grounded and stable. So being grounded and stable in tonight's practice is going to be really important. We're going to draw those shoulders over the hips and rest those palms up to receive or down to relax. Draw that tummy in and lengthen through the crown of the head. And then I'd like you to soften, close the eyes, and just gently slow down the breath, smoothing that breath into the belly and out from the belly so we can get that optimum oxygenation of the cells and that optimum breath into the body. You might know already that actually if we breathe into the chest too often, that can actually increase anxiety levels. So bringing that breath into the belly helps to soothe the nervous system, calm us down, ease stress and tension. And it optimizes our system, as we've mentioned already. Okay, so softening and closing the eyes, and any and all intentions are welcome for this evening's practice. I'm going to suggest that our intentions this afternoon are around being strong, having patience, and a little dash of daring, and we won't go far wrong. So as we're ready, bringing those palms to touch in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra, Mudra of Reverence. So we're going to come into these postures slowly but strongly, and we're going to be careful with our alignment as well this evening. So just see how far we go and try to enjoy the ride. Okay, some of us might even fly this evening. How about that? Okay, so from our sitting position, we're going to come straight into child's pose. And as we come into our child's pose, and you can bring the knees together or spread the knees apart, come onto the tops of the feet. If you do need a blanket, feel free to prop one up underneath the knees. I think most of us have fairly decent knees though. So coming down towards the floor. And we're going to rest in extended child's pose, reaching out in front of us, softening through the tops of the arms, the forearms and the fingertips. Rest the forehead on the floor, on the mat between the arms, and take some slow, deep breaths into the belly. What I'd like you to do as you breathe into the belly is imagine, and maybe even there will be this subtle shift in the body, imagine that the spine is rounding down, so tailbone towards the heels, and as you breathe, see if you can activate those core muscles, so drawing them in on the exhale and releasing them on the inhale, so expanding and contracting with the in and the out breath. Now this is to start to train the muscle memory. We're going to be needing that rounding of the spine. We're going to be needing the strength in the core this evening. So just energetically shifting our awareness into the belly and imagining, if we can't quite feel it, that as we inhale and exhale, that the spine is gently rounding and then gently softening towards the floor. Long, slow, deep breaths. Soften those shoulders away from the ears. Focusing that energy and attention up at the navel as the breath draws in and presses out. On your next exhale, I'd like you to really press out that breath and draw that navel in towards the spine and start to curl your tailbone strongly down towards your heels, pulling up from the perineum, the bottom, into those pelvic floor muscles, drawing them up and underneath the rib cage. And then inhale is softly come up. We're going to close off those knees and bring those knees together and sit back on the heels. And here we're going to come into a gentle twist. So here we're going to start to warm up the oblique muscles. We're going to be doing quite a lot of twisting tonight because we're coming into that Pajabakasana, that twisting side crow. So we're getting that muscle memory going and training it up from the very beginning of class today. So knees together. We're going to reach that left palm across towards the right of the mat. And we're going to inhale and lengthen through the right fingertips up towards the sky. Walk those left fingertips out so far as is necessary to get that stretch across the front of the chest and that twist in the belly. So curl that tailbone towards the heels as we twist towards the right and draw that tummy strongly in towards the spine. And you'll feel this quite deeply in the sides of the body. Looking up towards those right fingertips, if that's okay, on the neck. And we're going to hold here for a couple of breaths. Keep curling that tailbone down, drawing that tummy in and expanding through the rib cage, front and back. Smooth inhales, steady exhales. Trying to keep that sense of ease, that sense of calm in the body. And then exhale, we're going to release that right palm across towards the left side of the mat. Same thing towards the other side. So we're going to twist towards the left, lengthen through those left fingertips. Walk those right fingertips out as far as is necessary to get that deep twist in the belly, deep twist in the chest as we lengthen through the sky with those left fingertips. Again, pressing through the flat palm of the hand and through all of the fingertips there. Press the mat away to help you in curling that tailbone under and bringing the hips towards the heels to twist towards the left hand side. Again, looking up towards those fingertips, feeling strong, feeling patient with a dash of daring already being cultivated. Keep drawing that tummy in on the exhale. Again, imagining energetically that spine rounding and releasing. And then exhale, softly unwind. Okay, from here we are going to come onto the floor. So we're going to kick those legs over towards the left hand side and we're going to come onto our backs. Again, we're going to take this into a couple of twists and then we're going to connect in with those core muscles. So shuffle those hip points forwards, lengthen down the spine all the way to the floor. Walk the heels in towards the body. Draw those knees in just for a moment, squeeze them in towards the chest and roll the shoulders away from the ears. And then we're going to open those palms up at shoulders height, palms face up. And we're going to bring those shins to parallel with the sky, using those core muscles, so connecting in with those core muscles already in this twist. We're going to drop those knees over towards the right hand side with control, using those belly muscles all the way down. And then twist that upper body over towards the left hand side of the room. You can cactus the arms alongside the ears, but keep rolling those shoulder points away from the ears and pressing the shoulder blades towards the floor or working towards. Inhale deeply. Exhale, release, drawing those tummy muscles back in, releasing those knees back through center. Take an inhale and inflate the chest. As you do, curl that tailbone again into the floor and press through the whole length of the back, engaging navel in towards the spine. And then from here, as we exhale, we're going to drop those knees over towards the left-hand side, stack the ankles, and twist over towards the right-hand side. Again, arms can be at shoulders height, or cactus the arms in alongside the ears. And take a couple of deep breaths here. And again, try to engage those lower abdominals and that navel. So really try to isolate the breath to that deep abdominal area as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And as you breathe out, see if you can twist a little further, a little deeper over towards the right hand side. And then exhale, draw those knees back through centre. And here we're going to come into our core connector. So we're going to release those feet towards the floor to begin with. And again, flatten that back against the floor, just bringing those palms alongside the body. Curl the tailbone towards the backs of the knees and feel the navel drawing in towards the spine. And then from here, we're going to exhale and keep that tummy drawing in towards the spine as we lift the knees and bring the shins parallel towards the sky. And then from here, we're going to lengthen through the fingertips up and overhead on an inhale. See if you can reach a little bit further than I can. And then exhale, we're going to roll those fingertips up towards the knees, draw the tummy in towards the spine, pelvic floor in towards the spine also. And curl that tailbone away from you as you lengthen through the fingertips and lift the head and chest just a little, keeping that belly drawing in. And then exhale, softly release. Bring those arms up and overhead. Take an inhale here. And then from here, we're going to take this same core connector over into a twist. Okay, so we're going to take our inhale and lengthen up and overhead. Just going to shuffle down my mat a little, give myself some extra space. Inhale, fingertips up and overhead, curl the tailbone towards the backs of the knees. And then from here, we're going to exhale, draw the tummy in towards the spine, towards the mat. Lift those heels off the floor. Bring those palms together and reach up and over towards the right, pressing the outside of that left hand into the outside of the left thigh. Press it in, so thigh against hands, hands against thigh, and you'll feel those tummy muscles drawing in even more deeply. Take a breath here, and then exhale, softly release. Inhale, release the palms up and overhead. Same thing other side. We're going to practice a few of these, so we're going to move with the breath. So as we're ready, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, tummy tucks into the floor, tailbone lifts towards the knees, lifting up and overhead, twisting towards the left, pressing right palm against left thigh, drop the shoulders, draw tummy in towards the spine, and hold for 3, 2, 1, and then exhale, softly release. Inhale, sweep those palms up. We're going to come back through centre, and then we're going to go to opposite sides again, just 1 or 2 more rounds of this. So inhale, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, draw tummy in towards the spine, start curling tailbone up. Lift those heels, reaching for either side of the thighs. Peeling that head and chest off the floor. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. Inhale, reaching up and overhead. Inflating that chest, breathing into the belly. And then exhale, off we go again. Draw tummy in, lifting up, twist towards the right. Press that left hand into the thigh, thigh into hand, draw tummy in. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. Inhale, reach those palms up. And then exhale to the left. Draw tummy in, tailbone curls. Over towards the left, pressing arm into thigh, thigh against arm. Draw tummy in. Holding. 3, 2, 1. And then exhale, softly release. Inhale, reach those palms up and overhead. If you have room to stretch out and lengthen, please do, releasing the sideways here, releasing that sort of contraction in the belly as we lift and lengthen up and overhead, pressing through the heels and drawing those toes back, stretching out the whole length of the body. Inhale deeply into the belly. And then exhale, we're going to walk those feet in. And you can either rock and roll up to sitting, or you can roll onto your right hand side and come all the way back up. Okay, so from here we're just going to work the core a little bit more before we come into a different sort of height level really. So sitting nice and tall, walk those knees in towards the body, draw those shoulders back over the hips. We're going to walk those heels in towards the body, lift into the toes, so pressing through the toes, bring those arms alongside you, and then start to draw the tummy in, drawing pelvic floor muscles up and in, press through the chest, lift those toes off the floor, draw the shoulders away from the ears and hold here. Maybe you can get a little bit of length through the feet, one foot maybe, then the other. Keep that heart lifting. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then release. Sit forward, sit tall on an inhale. And then with that same twisting action from our sitting positions, from our Navasana, our boat pose. So as we're ready, sit nice and tall, reach those palms ahead, come into the toes as we draw the heels in, lift them up, And then bring those palms over towards the right. And we're going to hold here, drawing the shoulders away, pressing that heart forward. Arm against thigh, thigh against arm. Breathing and holding for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. Inhale, sit tall. Deep breath in. Exhale, back into the other side. So release the palms, walk those feet in, lift the toes, twisting towards the left. Bring the palms together, drop the shoulders, press that heart forwards and hold. We'll hold for 5 here. 4, 3, 2, 1, and steadily release on our exhale. Sit tall on an inhale. And then we're going to swing those feet round alongside us and come into a forearm plank here. Okay, so step towards the back of the mat. We're going to lower onto the forearms. Shoulders will be over the elbows and spread out through all the fingertips. Shuffle forwards on your mat to give yourself enough space to step back. We're going to begin by stepping that right foot back and pressing through the toes to bring those hips to level. Start to walk that foot a little further back as you drop the hips towards the floor. Curl that tailbone towards the heels. And then we're going to bring that left foot alongside the right, keeping that pelvis low to the floor. And see if you can get a nice long line from the shoulders through the tailbone, out through the heels, keeping that tummy pulled up and in. And you can maybe squeeze those thighs towards one another. So squeeze them in towards center, because we're going to be using this squeezing action later as well, to also help to zip up those pelvic floor muscles, drawing them up deeply into the lower belly, underneath the rib cage. As we hold for 3, 2, 1, and then softly drop towards the knees. From here, we're going to come into a cat-cow variation. So we're going to come onto all fours now and bring those shoulders over those wrists. Spread out through those fingertips, and we're going to build some more strength here and some more heat in the core muscles, okay? So let's begin by pressing that heart forward and releasing that tailbone towards the sky. Shoulder blades hug down the length of the waist. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Then we're going to exhale, curl from the tailbone, draw that tummy up and in, and again, focusing here on really rounding that spine, drawing that tummy in powerfully towards the spine. We're going to need this action later, and then we're going to practice that again. So inhale, press the heart forwards. And then this time we're going to bring that right heel straight up towards the sky, lift the head back, press that heart forwards, roll those shoulders away from the ears, hold the hips nice and parallel and squeeze the tummy in towards the spine and hold here. Imagining that foot is coming some way towards the back of the head, and the back of the head is reaching for that foot. Keep those hips nice and level. Good. And then exhale, softly draw that right knee in towards the chest. Again, that rounding action, so draw that tummy up and in, curl that tailbone under, press the floor away, nice, get some nice height in the shoulders, and then inhale, release alongside the left. Same thing on the other side. Press that heart forwards, come into our cow pose, roll those shoulders away from the ears, deep inhale into the belly here. And then as we exhale, we're going to lift that left heel straight up towards the sky, so putting our foot on the ceiling, lengthen through the back of the head, the crown of the head towards that foot, and press that heart forwards, holding here, squeezing into those obliques as well, those side abdominal muscles. You'll be feeling that there. If you continue to press through that left foot towards the sky, keep those hips nice and level, tummy drawn in, hold for a little bit longer, and then exhale, round that spine, curl from the tailbone, press the floor away. Getting some height and lift through the shoulders, and then softly release on down. Okay, so from here we're going to train up the arms. So let's just release the wrists for a moment, because we're going to be needing those later. So bring the backs of the hands against one another, and we're going to make some circles on those wrists. Imagine we're opening and closing a book, a sort of two-sided book, as we make some circles on those wrists, pressing those backs of the hands together, and then reversing that direction. So palms open away, fingers in, rolling a couple more times. And here is where we're going to train up the arms, ready for the same position that we're going to need to use later on, should we have that dash of daring and want to try and Parasarabhakasana pose, okay? So from here, we're going to come back into our plank, only this time it's going to be a higher plank rather than on the forearms. So we're going to press through those fingertips, spread them broadly, and we're going to step towards the back of the mat, just as if we were on the forearms, just as we did before. Press through the right toes, left toes, and see if you can work towards a nice long line through the crown of the head, through the tailbone, keep that tummy drawn in. Lengthen through the crown of the head, through the heels, and tuck the tailbone under. From here, we're going to bring those feet together, so right foot meets left foot, and we're going to roll onto the outside of that left foot, keeping the hips lifted. We're just going to hold here in a twisted high plank. So pressing those thighs together, press those feet together, lifting those hips up, 3, 2, 1, then back through center. Maybe you drop to the knees briefly, or maybe you can come into this twisted high plank on the other side straight from here. We're going to walk that left foot alongside right foot, squeeze the thighs together, rolling onto the outside of the right feet. Keep those shoulders parallel to the floor, lift those hips up, drawing that tummy in strongly, looking straight ahead, and we're going to hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale back through center, drop to the knees. Let's pull back for 1 breath. Extended child's pose, release. And then inhale, let's come back up through our high plank. Only this time we're going to come into a twisted chaturanga if you'd like to take it. So I'll show you first, okay, and then just give your wrists the rest for a moment, and then you can join me in just a moment's time. So we'll be stepping back into our high plank. We're going to roll onto the outside of the left of the feet, and then we're going to hug the elbows in towards center as we lower the body to the floor, and then press back up, lifting those hip points. Otherwise, feel free to take your twisting side plank instead. So as you're ready, coming out of your child's pose or back into your plank, reaching through those fingertips, tuck those toes under, step towards the back of the mat, keep those hips parallel with the floor and parallel with one another. Lengthen through the crown of the head. We're going to walk that right foot over towards the left hand side. We're going to roll onto the outside of that left foot, lift those hip points up, and then from here we're going to keep those elbows parallel as we lower, bending through those elbows, and then lifting back up. Switching to the other side for our high plank, bring the crown of the head forwards, inhale deeply, and then exhale, walk that left foot alongside against the right foot, squeeze the thighs together, rolling onto the outside of that right foot, lift the hips, so we're coming into it from our twisted high plank, and then from here, keep those elbows squeezing in, put a bend in the elbows, and then lifting back up, back through our high plank, drop to the knees, exhale, releasing, this time arms alongside the body, and press through the backs of the wrists. So bringing those hands up alongside the knees, pressing through the backs of the hands as we lower the forehead towards the floor. So all of those sensations in the body that you've just been experiencing throughout the twisting motion, the obliques, lifting the hips, are all of the same things that we're going to be using later on in our twisted side crow. Now there's no need to kind of overwork these muscles, so think of this as a bit like a weightlifting sort of gym exercise. We're training the muscles specifically to get us into that peak pose today and hopefully getting us into a sense of accomplishment. But whatever we do today, it's already been an achievement. So taking a moment to congratulate yourself on what you've done already so far. We've worked hard already. And then inhale, we're going to come back forwards. And then from here, we're going to come to our higher level. So we're going to come into our Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. So we'll walk those palms forwards, tuck those toes, imagine that tether between the belly and the thighs. Bring that tailbone up towards the sky, pull those arms and ears in line, pressing through index fingers and thumbs, step the feet back, stretch through those feet, stretch through the heels, anchoring them towards the floor. And then as we're ready, we're going to inhale and lift that right foot straight up behind us, and then we're going to open up that right hip into our three-legged dog, allowing that right ankle to dangle behind us. Keep drawing those shoulders to parallel, so a bit like our twisted side plank, we keep the shoulders parallel to the floor. And then we're going to exhale, close off that knee, bring it back round towards the left-hand side. Draw that knee in towards the chest, bring the shoulders over the wrists. And then from here, we're going to step through into a revolved side angle pose. So we're going to step forwards into our high lunge. Just step in a little with that back foot. We're going to come into our high crescent lunge to begin with. So sweep those palms high, right knee over right ankle, lengthen up. Tuck that tailbone, draw that pelvis towards the front of the room as we lengthen through the fingertips. And then from here we're going to exhale, bring the palms together, twisting over towards the right hand side. Bring that left elbow to the outside of that right thigh. Press the palms together, draw the shoulders away from the ears, look over towards the right, keep that back heel lifted. Draw that tummy in and really see how much twist you can get through that side waist as you look over towards the right hand side of the room. If this is too much, you can drop to the knee and take it into a low twisting lunge. Otherwise, keep that back knee lifted. Good. From here, we're going to exhale and unwind. And then we're going to step back a little if you've run out of room on your mat, and we're going to straighten through both legs. From this twisting position, we're going to bring that left palm to the outside of the right foot, or maybe on top of the right foot, or this is where, if you have a brick handy, you can bring that brick, recruit that brick to help you out in this position. Bring that left palm across the body and then lengthen towards the right hand side, pressing through back heel, pinning those thighs in towards one another again as we look over towards the right hand side of the room. Inhale, lengthen through the fingertips, looking over towards the right. In our revolved triangle, keep those thighs pinning in towards center, tummy lifting up. So you can keep length through the sides of the waist as we lengthen towards the right. Good. And then from here, we're going to come into our twisting Ardha Chandrasana, or twisting half moon. So if you've got a brick to hand, you can move it forwards about 6 to 12 inches in front of that right foot. Otherwise, just reach for the floor, put a bend in that front knee if you need to. Come into the fingertips and just lift that left heel straight up behind you as you continue to twist as best you can over towards the right hand side. Inhale, lengthen. Keep those hips nice and parallel. And then exhale, bring that left foot alongside right foot. We're going to put a bend in both the knees. Sweep those palms high into our Utkatasana. Tuck the tailbone. Remember, draw that tummy in, lengthen through the fingers. Inhale deeply. And then exhale, we're going to fold over those knees. Look towards the knees. Exhale. Knees can be bent, feet can be hip width apart. And then from here, we're going to inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, plant the palms, bent knees, and either step to the back of the mat or float. So if you want to float, you can shoot the feet back, but land with bent elbows in your chaturanga, like so. If you're watching, like this, but landing lightly. And then inhale into your up dog, or into your baby cobra. Drop the tailbone, draw the tummy in. And then exhale, tuck the toes back through Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog, arms and ears in line. As we're ready, press through the index fingers and the thumbs. We're setting up for the same routine, the same sequence on the other side. So as we're ready, we're going to inhale, lift that left heel straight up behind us. Keep those hips nice and level to begin. Keep the shoulders parallel, and then open up that left hip, allowing that left foot to dangle towards the right side of the room. Keeping those shoulders parallel, remember. Deep inhale here into the belly. Keep the breath steady. And then exhale, closing back off that knee, bring it back round, draw the knee in towards the chest, get some height through the shoulders. Shoulders over wrists, draw those left toes back, and then stepping straight towards the front of the mat, getting ready for our high crescent into our twisting extended side angle. So bringing those palms forwards, keep that left knee over that left ankle, lengthening through the fingertips, tuck that tailbone towards the front of the room, pin those thighs in towards center, and again, scoop that pelvis forwards, lengthen through the fingers. Maybe take it into a gentle back stretch, and then exhale, palms to touch, twisting over towards the left-hand side. So bring that right arm across towards the left-hand side, palms are pressing, roll the shoulders away, lengthening through the elbows, keep that back heel either lifted or you can drop to the knee to take it into a low twisting side lunge, and holding in this position. Just going to switch sides here. Okay. So left knee bent over left ankle, twisting over towards the left hand side. Good, and then from here we're going to shorten that stance a little and bring the feet to straight as we lower that right palm to the outside of the left foot, or on the left foot or inside the left foot, and then twisting over towards the left hand side. Again, this is where you can use your brick or the sofa or whatever you have to hand to place your fingertips on. Press through that back heel, pin that left hip back, right hip forward, pinning those thighs in towards center, and twisting from the belly again. See how much lift and twist you can get through the belly as you look over towards the left hand side. Holding here for a breath. Front knee can be slightly bent if this is too much of a stretch on that IT band on the outside of the glutes, all the way down into the knee, the ankle. Finding where you're comfortable. Good. And then from here, we're going to shuffle forwards. From this position, we're going to bring those right fingertips in front of that left foot, 6 to 12 inches. Start to bring that weight forward into that left foot. Lift that right heel straight up behind you, keeping yourself in that Ardha Chandrasana. Twist towards the left hand side. Keep drawing that left shoulder away from the ears. Holding, holding, holding. And then as we're ready, we're going to exhale and step that right foot alongside left foot. Keep the tailbone tucking under, knees are bent. Sweep those palms high, lengthen towards the sky, and then exhale, folding over those knees. Good. Exhale, look towards the knees, allow the crown of the head to dangle, stretch out the hamstrings here for a moment or two. Maybe swing those hips from left to right. Good, and then from here we're going to come back into our Utkatasana fierce pose, and we're going to take this into a couple of twists as well. So tucking that tailbone under, draw that tummy in, Drawing up on those pelvic floor muscles, put a bend back in those knees, and you can squeeze the thighs together for this one, just for a little extra cheat if you like. Sweep those fingertips forwards, tuck the tailbone towards the backs of the knees, lengthen through the fingers, inhale deeply, and then from here, just going to switch sides. From here we're going to exhale, bring the palm to touch in front of the heart and take it into a twist towards the right. So bring that left elbow across the body, towards the outside of that right thigh, and check down that the knees are alongside one another, that the left knee isn't coming ahead of the right knee as you twist over towards the right hand side. Again, press through the palms, draw those elbows to level and roll those shoulders away from the ears. Spread out through the toes, keep that tummy lifting, twisting towards the right. Good, and then exhale, we're going to fold over those knees. Exhale, exhale. And then we're going to inhale over to the other side. So inhale, put a bend back in those knees. Press those thighs together, draw the pelvic floor up and in. Tummy draws towards the spine. Sweep those fingertips out in front of you. Roll those shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. Exhale, palms to press, twisting over towards the left. So that right palm, that right elbow comes to the outside of left thigh. Draw those shoulders away, twisting towards the left. And see if you can get some lift and twist through the belly as well. Inhale deeply. Keep those shoulders running away from the ears. You'll feel this burning in the thighs a little. And then exhale, unwind, folding over those knees. Exhale. So from here, we're going to come into a vinyasa and then into a nice hamstring stretch before we start to come into our preparation for our Pajabakasana with some extra options for you. So from here, we're going to inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, put a bend in the knees and plant the palms, either step or hop towards the back of the mat through Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. From here, we're going to step towards the front of the mat with our left foot open towards the right hand side or open towards me, whichever way that is. And then from here, we're going to plant those palms either on the floor or towards the floor or on a couple of bricks or whatever you have to hand. Lengthen through the crown of the head. From here, and then we're going to exhale, lengthen the crown of the head towards the floor, pressing through the outside edges of the feet and bringing those palms in line with the inner sides of the feet if you can. Otherwise, just work towards. Again, remember, it never matters how far we come into the pose. We go for progress, not for perfection. It's a yoga practice, not a yoga perfect. Okay, and then from here, we're going to inhale, lift the head just enough. We're going to exhale and twist towards the right hand side. So walk that left palm in towards the centermost point between the feet and lift and lengthen towards the right hand side, reaching those right fingertips up towards the sky. Maybe get some additional height and lift, maybe an extra twist through the belly over towards the right, but try to keep those hips parallel if you can. Opening from the belly, the waist. And then exhale, unwind. We're going to walk that right palm through center and then twist over towards the left, lengthen through left fingertips. Inhale deeply. Good, and then exhale, we're going to softly unwind. We're going to heel toe those feet together. However you get there is fine. You can hop the feet together or heel toe them in. We're going to come back through our Utkatasana or fierce pose. Sweep those palms high. Tuck the tailbone, inhale. Exhale, folding over those knees. Look towards the back of the room. Inhale, look up, put a bend back in those knees, plant those palms, and then we're going to step towards the back of the mat this time through Adho Mukha Svanasana. So final stretch before we're coming into our extra options. So from here we're going to inhale, lift that right heel straight up. Exhale, we're going to bring that right knee across the body in a twist, and then bring that shin out towards the front of the room and just resting down on that shin so the right foot sort of comes some way behind that left wrist. Lowering onto that shin, walk that left foot slowly back, lower towards the floor. See if you can keep those hip points nice and level if you can. The main thing here is that we're practicing yet another twist, okay? So from this position, we're going to bring that right palm across the body towards the inside of that right foot. Otherwise, come to the forearm and twist towards the left. That is just as good, okay? Otherwise, bring that right elbow to the inside of the sole of the right foot. Press the palms together, lengthen through that back leg. Bring that tailbone underneath you. Draw the tummy in and twist over towards the left-hand side. Or you're on your right forearm, just gently lengthening towards the left, okay? Take whatever feels comfortable. The knees shouldn't feel any pain in this position, so if the knees are uncomfortable, then unwind or come into that modified position on the forearm Go easy on yourself. And then exhale, we're going to unwind. Back through center, tuck those toes under. Press through the outside of that right foot to lift it up. Step towards the back of the mat. And then from here, we're going to practice that same thing on the other side. So from your Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog, we're going to lift that left heel straight up behind us. Exhale, round that spine, bring that knee, that left knee across the body. Start to bring those left toes out towards the side of the room. Lower onto that shin. Walk those right feet back. Keep those hips level as you can. Lowering towards the floor and then either bringing that left forearm to the floor, twisting towards the right. Otherwise, bring that left elbow to the inside of those drawn back feet on the left hand side. Press through the palms. Take it into a twist. And again, see if you can engage the lower belly muscles. Tuck the tailbone under. Lift that belly up. Twist from the waist over towards the right hand side, drawing those shoulders away from the ears. And holding here. Nearly there. Can you feel it starting to come? It's nearly there now. On its way, peak pose. And then we're going to exhale, we're going to unwind, bring those palms back through center, tuck those toes under, press through the outside of that left foot, lifting up, step towards the back of our mat, press through Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog, and then from here we're going to come into our Malasana squat, and here's when the magic really begins. So from here, we're going to step that right foot out towards the side of the mat, left foot out towards the side of the mat, and sink that tailbone down into our Malasana squat. Bring those palms a touch in front of the heart, lengthen through the crown of the head. Take a deep inhale here into the belly. Maybe just sort of shuffle into the hips from side to side, rocking gently. And if you need a drink, now is a good time to take one, but don't take too much because we'll be pressing on the belly shortly. So just a sip or two is enough for this stage of the sequence. So gently rocking from side to side, then lengthening through the crown of the head. Pressing that heart forwards, easing those thighs open towards the side. Deep inhale here, psyching ourselves up. Remember, we are strong, we are patient, with a dash of daring, we are all those things and so much more. And then from here, we're going to exhale, and here is where we're going to come into our options, okay? So, option 2, start practicing our Bakasana, which is simply our crow. I would recommend a cushion at this point. So if you haven't got a cushion, now is a good time to reach for one, and it's going to go wherever the face is going to hover, okay? So from our Malasana squat, you can practice your Bakasana or your crow pose, okay? So from our Malasana with the arms inside the thigh, press them open, and then from this position, lower those palms towards the floor so they're just about shoulders width apart. You'll want to draw the tummy in and start to round the spine as you squeeze the outside edges of the upper arms against the thighs and the thighs against the arms. When you can feel all the lower body engaged, you can start to bring that weight forwards through spread out broad fingertips and come into the toes. Shuffling a little bit higher, maybe you can get the knees into the armpits for more of a crane pose. And then gently you can bring that weight forwards over your cushion if you want one. And you can practice just lifting one heel then the other. But you'll want to do that once you can feel the weight shifting into the fingertips rather than into the wrists. So then lifting one heel then the other until your weight comes into, feels quite light, the hips are sort of over, almost over the shoulders, and you can practice lifting one foot then the other. So that's option 1 with a cushion. So if you go face planting, it's fine. You meant to do it and there's a cushion there to break your fall, okay? Option 2 is to practice your clown pose, okay? So watching first. So this is like a mini tripod headstand, and maybe you can practice against a sofa or scatter cushions all around. It's a bit like a sort of a landing mat. So this one is like our crow. And we're going to bring the head towards the floor. And we're going to bring the knees onto the elbows and lift one foot, then the other foot. Bringing those hips over those shoulders. Pressing through broad palms as we lift those feet high up towards the sky. So option 2 if you fancy it. Shifting the weight back into the heels of the palms to come back down, okay? You can skip all of this if you prefer and just have a drink and maybe watch for a couple of minutes while we play. It's entirely up to you. Option 1 or pre-1 is just not doing it, okay? That's fine, all right? Otherwise, practice your crow, practice your clown pose, or you can practice your Parashva Bakasana. So from here, you'll want to come into your squat. So from your Malasana, you'll walk the knees in. You'll press the thighs together. Press the thighs together and you'll come into the toes. So if you lift the toes right up, you'll get the maximum length for for the outside of your leg to get your arms around, okay? So that's why we come high up into the toes to give yourself the maximum length to bring the arms to, okay? So knees and thighs squeezing in. You'll want to round your spine and draw that tummy in. I'll show you first. So bringing that body over towards the right hand side, coming high into the toes. Sneak that right upper arm right against the hip and that left upper arm against just behind the knee at the side here. Spread out through the fingertips and start to shift your weight forwards, okay? Making a shelf with those arms. From here you'll shift your weight forwards and then maybe you can lift one foot, maybe you can lift the other foot and squeeze the toes together. Keep your gaze lifted, okay? So don't look towards the floor because you'll tip over. Keep your gaze lifting straight ahead. And this is where you'll want your cushion underneath your face. And if you fall, watch me fall. Here we go, whoop. We just kick up a foot, our left foot, and we pretend like we meant to do it. This one's called Fallen Angel, okay? So if you fell, that's fine. To come back out, bring the knees together, rock back into the heels, the palms, draw the tummy in, and lower yourself back down towards the floor, okay? So have a little play. I'll give you a minute or two. I'm going to see if I can see some of you through the screen. If any of you want to ask questions about this pose, put your microphones on and ask me, and I'll do my best to answer the questions. Otherwise, I'd love to see you have a play. Otherwise, if you prefer to practice like you're invisible, I get it, I understand. Maybe next time I'll get to see you. So take it slowly, take it carefully. I'll show you that side crow once more. So if you're coming into your side crow, you'll want to squeeze those knees and thighs together. Come into the toes, really into those toes, lifting those knees to their maximum height. Keep that tummy drawn in. Bring that left arm across to the outside of the right thigh, just like we did in all those lovely twists. And that right palm comes into the hip on the floor, hugging right in, hugging really tightly in, like in our chaturanga pose that we practiced in our twisting side plank. Spread out through the fingers, start to shift your weight forwards, press those feet together, press the toes together until the feet lift off the floor. Keep your gaze forwards, and then holding. Remember, if you fall, you meant to do it. And then to come out, rock back to the heels of the hands and lower yourself back down. And then you can practice that same thing on the other side. I'll give you a few seconds more, and then we're going to practice that on the other side as well. Otherwise, I'll show you a couple more options, those previous options if you'd prefer to practice those. So with your normal crow, so if you're happy practicing your side crow, keep going. Otherwise, with your normal crow, come into it from your malasana. Press those arms against the thighs, thighs against the arms. Spread out through those fingertips, draw the tummy in strongly. Start to shift that weight forward, squeezing arms and thighs together. Come into the toes again. You'll notice that shifting of the weight forwards. Look towards that cushion. And then lift one foot, then the other foot. In towards the body. Into your bakasana. Option 2 is your clown. So your clown pose from your malasana. Bring that weight forward like a tripod headstand. You want a triangle shape. The head goes in that triangle shape alongside where the fingertips are, reaching for the floor, for the crown of the head. Shifting that weight forwards, knees onto the elbows, lifting those toes up. Pressing gently through the crown of the head, keeping the shoulders nice and strong. Always in control of the amount of weight you're placing on the head. To come out, rock back into the heels of the hands and come back down, okay. So let's see where we are. We're going to practice that, I'll model that bakasana, the Parasa bakasana on the other side now. So if you'd like to practice on the left hand side, let's do this one together. Otherwise, keep playing with your clown and your crow pose. I had a student right at the beginning of the class said they'd rather play chicken than crow today, so that's always an option as well. But I think that's a little bit rude. I don't mean that you are chicken at all, I just think that we come at it when we're ready. It takes a long while to master this one. If you got it, really well done. If not, there's always another time. And don't forget those tutorials are coming. So right palm comes to the outside of that left thigh. Left elbow comes in towards the hip point, spread out through those fingers. Draw that tummy in, get that twist going through the upper body. Come right into the toes. Start to shift that weight forwards on those bent elbows like a shelf. And then you can squeeze those thighs together, press those toes together, look forwards into your side crow on the other side. Holding. And then when you are ready, keep the head off the floor. If you fell down, you know you meant to do it. I'll just show you. Fallen angel, kick that foot up, you meant to do it. Okay? To come out, rock back and plant yourselves back on the floor. Okay? I'll give you about 30 seconds or a minute more to practice. A little bit longer. And then when you are done, if you are done, come and rest in your hero pose with the palms resting on the thighs. So when you are ready, resting with the palms on the thighs, shoulders over the hips. A little bit longer. And then as we're ready, everybody meeting in Virasana in our hero pose. You are all my heroes each and every day. And then again, we're just going to release those wrists. So you can just make some circles on the fingers if you prefer, or you can press the backs of the hands again and make those circles. So just releasing those wrists, bringing all of your energy and your attention into those fingertips. So remember, wherever you got today in your practice, you are brave, you are strong. We need to cultivate patience. And that dash of daring can sometimes be the thing. It's that sort of the fear of the unknown. But hopefully with those little videos that are coming out for in-between time practices, hopefully they'll make you feel a little bit more confident and enable you to get over that fear factor if you have it. I know I did when I practiced my side crow for a long, long time. But really it's about working those muscle groups just enough, not to the point of fatigue. So you're kind of at your performance-ready performance, if you like. And there'll be some days in the body it feels right, and other days less so. And always be a really good listener. It never matters. And we always honour today's body. And there will always be, we hope, if we have grace, there will always be other opportunities to practice and to progress. So I never want you to feel frustrated. Always honouring today's body. Good, and it is time to wind down now. So we've got a good 10 minutes left of class, so we're going to start to wind down. So from our hero pose, we're going to keep that right knee bent. Keep sitting on that right foot if that feels comfortable. Otherwise you can walk that right foot out towards the side if the knees are happy with this. If the knees are not happy with this, then you can just come onto your bottom and bring that right foot in towards the groin and extend through that left foot towards the front of the mat, okay? Otherwise, from our Virasana, sitting either on that foot or inside of that foot and lengthening through that left heel. Sitting as stably as you can through the sit bones, draw those left toes back, sit nice and tall, take an inhale here, reach those palms high, and then exhale from those hips, from the belly, from the chest, then the head. We lengthen towards the floor, lengthen towards the thigh, reaching for those fingertips either side of the shins, and just stretching through those hamstrings. So we've been sort of quite cooped up in our side crow or in our crow poses in our malasana, so it's now time to lengthen and stretch through those muscles, regaining some flexibility and hopefully relieving us of any sort of cramping, any muscle tension that might be carrying in the legs. And then inhale, come back up. We're going to switch sides, so swing that right foot round or switch that right foot from the inside to the left foot. And swing that left foot behind us or bring it in towards the groin. Draw those right toes back, sitting evenly across the sit bones, sit nice and tall. Inhale, sweep those palms high. And then exhale, lengthen from belly, hinging from those hips, belly, chest. Crown of the head lengthens, drop to those fingertips, draw the shoulders away and lengthen towards the toes. Just enough to feel that stretch and length through the right side of the leg, or the right leg even. Lengthen towards the floor. And then inhale, softly come up. We're going to swing that left foot alongside right, and we're going to open the legs into our Upavishta Konasana here. So sitting nice and tall again through those sit bones, so untucking any flesh, getting grounded, feel stable. And then from here, we're going to sweep those palms high on our inhale, and we're going to take it into a twist. So we're going to exhale and bring that right palm across the left hip and lengthen through those left fingertips over towards the right hand side of the room. See if you can start to lower that right shoulder towards that right thigh, and if you can reach the inside of the thigh with that right arm, press into it, maybe lower those right palms to the floor as we twist over towards the left hand side. Maybe you can reach for the toes and look underneath the armpits and open the chest that way, and perhaps you've got that sort of mobility. Otherwise, just enjoying this side stretch, lengthen through the fingers, And then exhale, sweep those fingertips around towards the front of the room. Sit nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale, folding forwards onto the fingertips or forearms, lengthen through the crown of the head, toes drawn back. And then inhale, walk those fingertips back up. We're going to sweep those palms high. Get grounded again through the sit bones, and then exhale, bring that left palm across to right hip and lengthen over towards the left hand side. Seeing if you can lower that left shoulder towards the left thigh, otherwise press through the elbow into the thigh, bring that left palm to the floor and twist over towards the right a little to feel that deep stretch in the right side of the body. And get grounded through that right sit bone as well. We want to lift our hip points here to reach the toes, but rather than do that, try to bring that right sit bone down towards the floor, allow it to feel heavy. Get grounded and just broaden and deepen that stretch through the sides of the body as you look over towards the right hand side. And then exhale, sweep those right palms forwards. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, folding forwards onto the forearms or fingertips. Keep those toes drawn back, stretching forwards. And then inhale is softly come up. We're going to bring those knees in through center, practice bridge. And then we're nearly there. So sweep those feet in towards centre. Maybe you want to windscreen wiper the knees if that feels nice on the hips. A couple of those. Done lots of twisting this evening, so we'll just do our bridge and then we'll do our happy baby and then I'll let you rest for a couple of minutes. Okay, and shuffle those hips towards the front of the mat. Keep those knees bent. Roll down the length of the spine. Maybe you still have that control in the belly to roll down, and then walk those heels in towards the body so that you can almost touch the backs of the ankles with the fingertips if you can. Walk the knees to parallel, hips width, palms alongside the body. Inhale deeply. Let's connect with our core again for one last time. Inhale, press through the floor with those shoulders. Exhale, draw navel in towards spine, tailbone curls under towards the knees and lift those hip points up towards the sky. Maybe walk those fingertips beneath you, draw them down past the tailbone, really open across the chest, chin away from the chest, pressing through the feet, really drawing that tailbone towards the knees and getting some real height and lift in those hip points, and so a nice little stretch for the quadriceps as well as strength going through there. And then as we're ready, we're going to exhale, softly lower down from the upper spine to the mid to the low spine. Hug those knees in towards the chest. And then either reaching for the inside of the feet or the outside of the feet, we're going to come into a happy baby. I'm going to go inside today and draw those feet up and out towards the side, drawing those toes back, and then curl the tailbone towards the floor, getting into the hips. And you can either hold it there or you can rock a little from side to side, releasing any tension in the hips. Allow your face to crease into a smile. Really well done. Really well done if you had a go. And then as we're ready, we're going to bring those knees back in towards centre. Hug those knees in towards the chest. And then either release the feet to the floor with the knees bent, feet wide. Otherwise you can lengthen through the feet, flop them open towards the side, bring those palms alongside you facing up towards the sky to make us receptive. If the shoulders are hunched up around the ears in this position, press through the back of the head, release the shoulders down. And then lengthen through the spine, the tailbone, and adjust the feet and ankles as feels comfortable. Chin ever so slightly in towards the chest. Allow all of the muscles to release into the mat. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, deep into the belly, and exhale through the mouth. Couple more of those while I turn the lights off and allow you to rest in your Shavasana. Breathing out through the mouth, allowing your body to sink towards the floor. Scanning your body for any tight spots, any areas of tension, And then bringing your awareness to those points and allowing them to dissolve, to release into the earth beneath you. Feel nicely connected to the ground, to the earth, the surface beneath you. Feel gravity working its magic, drawing you into the earth. Eyes are soft or closed. And then gently start to slow down the breath, quiet the breath. And then just revisiting your intention from the start of your practice. Remembering that you are strong, you are daring, you are patient. Cultivating this self-compassion, this thanks, this gratitude for your body going with you on this journey this evening, for the emotional and mental strength to dare, and the patience to enjoy the journey. It's never about the destination. And then as you're ready, start to lengthen and deepen that breath once more. Start to bring your awareness back to the contact points of your body on the floor. Feel the temperature on your skin, the temperature of the air against your skin. Feel the weight of the clothes on your body, and start to reorient yourself to your surroundings, the sounds around you. And then as you're ready, begin to gently persuade, gently coax that body to start making some small movements on the smaller joints, working up to bigger joints. And then perhaps yawning and stretching, lengthening through the fingers, the toes, getting as long and as tall as you possibly can. Deep inhale again into the belly, calming that nervous system, then drawing those knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a hug. And I'd just like to remind you here that if you like the class, if you'd like to try again next Tuesday, let me know. If you prefer to move on, let me know. Tutorials will be making their way out to you after practice this evening, so look out for those. And then rolling onto your right hand side before gently pressing yourself back up to a comfortable seat, facing this way. Bring those palms to touch in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra, this mudra of reverence. My, do I have some reverence for you all. And then palms to touch in front of the forehead for loving thoughts, the heart center for loving intentions, and to the lips for loving communications. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you so much. Namaste.